Hello everyone, my name is Roya and today is another monthly recommendations video. So monthly recommendations has reached its 1 year anniversary, and so the topic this month is actually to pick one recommendation for each topic that they've done so far. So instead of actually doing all of them, I'm going to just do the topics that I never did, which are actually just the first 5. The first one is an underrated book. And for this, I'm choosing The Black Unicorn by Tanith Lee. I have never heard anybody else talk about this on BookTube or elsewhere, really, unless I'm looking up reviews for this book specifically already. But basically, this is about a girl named Tanaquil who lives in the desert with her mother, who is a crazy sorceress. And Tanaquil has always had this ability to mend things, which basically just means fix things. It doesn't literally mean like sewing or anything. So she finds the bones of a unicorn buried in the desert, and she puts them back together, and the unicorn comes to life and leads her on this insane adventure and all this craziness. So this is a fairly short book, and it's actually the first in a trilogy that I have not read the rest of, but it could also just be a good standalone as well. And this is a really interesting book. It's slightly dated. It's like an older fantasy, but it's super, super good. The next one of the topics that I never did is a book set in school, and for that I am choosing Tell Me Again How a Crush Should Feel by Sarah Farizan. I have talked about this book a ton on my channel, and I just can't stop talking about it because it's amazing. And so it is about a Persian American girl who is basically, she's been a closet lesbian for like a while, and her family doesn't really, like, she knows she really can't come out to her family. Like, she really doesn't feel like her family would accept that. And so a new girl comes to her school and seems to be attracted to her as well, but she isn't really sure. And basically this book is just full of twists, full of really interesting characters. Like, no one's even really a side character in this book. Like, even the side characters are super good and have their own really good story. So this is just a fantastic book. The next recommendation is a creepy book, and for that I'm going to pick a book that I don't have with me, but that is 11/22/63 by Stephen King, and that is a very creepy book, but not in the like straightforward horror kind of way, and it is by far my favorite Stephen King book, and I've read a whole bunch of Stephen King books, so I really mean it when I say that's my favorite one. Also, it's really, really a good one to go into blind and just not even read the summary, so that you're just really surprised the whole time. The next recommendation is a trilogy, and for that I am going to pick The Sin Eater's Daughter by Melinda Salisbury. This is the second one because I don't have the first one with me, but this is a really good series about a girl who basically was supposed to follow in her mother's footsteps and be the next Sin Eater, but instead she decides to go to the palace and be like the incarnation of one of their gods, and so she can touch people and they will die. It's full of twists, and nothing is what it seems at all, and there's all sorts of political intrigue. There isn't as much craziness going on in this second one, but it still is super suspenseful and really left me wanting to read the third one, which doesn't come out until next year, but I'm like anxiously awaiting it already. And the last one of the topics that I never did is a book you think others should read ASAP or before the end of the year. I would definitely recommend reading all of those books that I already mentioned before the end of the year, because they're all really amazing. So instead of picking a book that I think you guys should all read by the end of the year, because there are like infinite possibilities here, but something that I plan to read by the end of the year that maybe you will find interesting as well is Phoenix and Ashes by Mercedes Lackey. And I am really interested in this book because it's part of her Elemental Masters series, companion series, kind of. They all kind of take place in the same world, but they're not connected by any of the same characters or anything like that, besides just being in the same setting, kind of. So this takes place in like fantasy, but actually the real world in like another era, in like the olden days, basically. So this takes place in like olden day London, but it deals with these people who have elemental powers, And basically most of the Mercedes Lackey books that I've read are part of this series, and they are all so good, and so I really can't wait to read this one. Those are all the books that I'm going to talk about in today's monthly recommendations video. I will see you soon with a new video. Bye!